I believe viewers must see my show because it is very relevant to what is going on this year with social unrest, the division of the country, killings of unarmed Black people. It deals with my experience, which could be shared along with so many people across this country, and how I've been able to sort of push towards activism and being a more active part of my community and not being silent about issues that matter. Um, I think that with art, you can create so many wonderful conversations that will affect change in communities, not only in LA, but just around the world. I think audiences have to see it in December before 2020 is over, even though we might all be over this year. I really think this is I don't want to say the perfect, but the necessary thing to see and experience before this year ends, um, because we really need to be having these conversations more so now than ever. Art is important now, and this is a part of that. My name is Philicia Saunders, and if you want to learn more about my play Breathe, a solo experience, watch this video. So Breathe is about my experience as a Black woman in America and how the different experiences and moments I've had in my life where I wasn't sharing my voice or being, I was just being silent and for a lack of better words, complacent in this world and not really feeling connected and aware of who I am in this world. Honestly, because like if you're going through this world as a Black person or a person of color, you're all often faced with adversity, and with that, it kind of affects who you are and what you're being, like your self-worth, and because like you go after so many things in your life to try and reach a certain point, but then there's always someone who's going to knock you down a peg, or just like tell you you're the diversity hire or things like that. So I have different vignettes in my show where I speak about my experiences and how those different things that I have experienced, whether it be microaggressions or, adversity, how those things I'm able to change them and be a more active person in my community, and how I'm able to love myself in that process. Because when you're facing those different things in life that aren't very positive, you have to find positivity in it all. And at the end, I sort of speak about so many different things. I speak about the George Floyd protests this year, the pandemic. I speak about my experiences in college and high school. And then at the end, there's a call to action. There's, you can't just be silent and stand in one place. I learned that same quote from a woman named Sweet Alice Harris, who is an activist in the Watts community. She has taught me and inspired me to be a more active member in my community for, not only Black people, but just like being a woman and in this community and in this country, you need to have some courage to do that. And so that's that is the sort of overarching theme of my play, is not standing back, not watching the world go by, but having a more active participation in what's going on in this world and being aware of it and sparking the conversation with not only, your friends, but people you don't know, like people who may say something to you or someone else and that's not okay. And just speaking up and saying, hey, that's not okay. This is how you can't just say that to somebody. So just sparking activism, and it's an art activism piece. And I'm hoping that, it will spark conversation with the community that I share it with. It is very, very unique. I started this play. It was supposed to be a live theater performance in a very small setting, 25-seat theater studio. And then unfortunately the pandemic happened. And so the festival it was supposed to be in was the Hollywood Fringe Festival, and it was canceled due to the pandemic. So then instead of giving up fully, because there was a moment where I was like, well, I guess I could just do this in 2 years. I put my foot down and I was like, I have to do this year because it is so relevant to what is going on in 2020 with social unrest, social unrest, the election, the country is more divided than ever. I just needed to put my foot down and just put this out into the world. So I had to go back to the drawing board and literally and revamp the whole play to happen online. So with that comes pre-recorded material, voiceover. There's opportunities for voiceover. There's opportunities for a live portion. So there are live portions throughout the play where it'll be broadcast, and I'm doing live monologues mixed in between all of the pre-recorded material and voiceover and things like that. And I do have an artistic swimming element in the show. That's my background. I am a swimmer / artistic swimmer. So there are moments of me underwater doing different moves, and there's a whole motif throughout the play that involves that. But the process has been insane. I mean, I mainly have a theater background, so I know how to put on a play, not only as an actor, but as, a producer, and I know how to work with my stage manager. But this is a whole nother beast. I mean, you're essentially doing a film, and then you're also doing a theater performance. So I have a great team of designers, editors, director, photographer, sound designers, composers who are working night and day on the filmic aspects of this show. And so with that, you have so many more people to be interfacing with every day and talking about, like, hey, here's my feedback on this film portion. Here's my feedback on this sound cue or lighting cue in the stage. So you're talking with so many different people at one time versus the beginning of this process when it was a smaller production. I had 5 people. Now I have 24 people that I'm working with every day on this production. So in a short answer, it has gone from a very small team to a bigger sort of creative team in a larger scope. So it is very difficult, but I'm learning every day. This might be the future of theater. So, I mean, now that I've worked and done this kind of work right now, I'm able to do that in more shows that I'm going to be creating in the future. So it's great. And you also have a wider audience. You can reach people across the country or around the world, because it's going to be, they'll just get a link, tune in from their couch, and they can see the show from anywhere. So it's tough, but I'm excited about the possibilities. So we have 4 shows. 2 of the shows will be live. December 11th and December 12th are the live portions of my show schedule. And then the 13th and the 18th of December are rebroadcasted shows, but at the end of each of those shows will be a talkback. So their proceeds of my ticket sales are going to 2 organizations that are very dear to me. Parents of Watts, which is Sweet Alice Harris's organization out of Watts, California. And then Community Coalition, which is an organization in South LA. So the one on the 13th will be a talkback with Sweet Alice Harris. I speak about her words of wisdom are the fabric of this show. She's an activist in Watts, California, and helped bring the community back together after the Watts unrest of 1965. And from that, like I said, she created Parents of Watts, helping Black and Brown people in that community. So we're having a conversation with her on the 13th at the end of the show, along with another activist and artist named Bruce Lemon Jr. And then the one on the 18th, the talkback will be with Community Coalition. There will be members from that organization who will be speaking about being more active in the community and how we can find more progress in the community in South LA. So I mean, the main purpose of the show has grown so much bigger than myself. I want to it is art activism. It is creating conversation and sparking conversations, not only in our community, but, within ourselves, with ourselves. So those talkbacks, I'm looking forward to them more than my show, but it's a part of my show essentially. So I'm looking forward to them and seeing what kind of conversation will come of it. So yeah, I want the audience to come on this journey with me. The show is a journey. It is my life journey, and it is also a journey that other people have taken outside of myself. I really want people to look at the show and see how they can connect their life stories to my own, and how they can not only find a pathway to activism and being more an active community member, but also just have a conversation not only with their mother or father or, sister or brother, but also other people in their community and how they can be a more I keep saying this, how they can be a more active person in their community because that is how I was able to find that for myself. I talk about how for so many years I've been silent or I have not even paid attention to the things that have happened to me. But now I feel like I need to more so than ever to take a more active step in that direction because I want to be an inspiration to someone else who is sitting back and just thinking, man, that wasn't right. Someone said something that wasn't right, or I witnessed something that wasn't right. Instead of not saying anything or being silent, taking a more active participation in that moment versus complacent. So I want the audience to start having those conversations with themselves if they're not being more active in their community, but like how they can as artists. I mean, I'm an artist and this is my way of activism is to portray it through art. And so I want to inspire other people to do the same. I wish my younger self was inspired to do that. And it really doesn't matter what stage of your life you're in, as long as it happens, you feel more fulfilled, not only as a person, but as, just as a human being. So that's essentially what I hope to get from the show. And I hope the audience can take from the show. I just want to say that my show wouldn't be possible without the so many people that I'm working with, so many designers, and most of which I've known for years. So I'm just so happy and excited to be working on something that's so near and dear to me and who like is the being of who I am. I'm just so excited to be working and sharing this with them and also just sharing it with the world in December. My name is Philicia Saunders. I hope you enjoyed our conversation about my play Breathe, a solo experience. I hope to see you on December 11th through 18. I am really excited to bring this out into the world and start having those conversations we need to have today.